Right, well, it's that time of day again. We've got ourselves another locomotive review today. This is obviously a Class 60 with this strange looking Loadhaul livery applied to it. Okay, so originally I was going to buy this model at the beginning of the year when it was announced I was going to pre-order it. And to be honest, I just completely forgot about it. And then I looked around, I didn't really see any pre-orders for it. And I looked yesterday, and there it was on the Hatton's website, released. And I thought, oh bloody hell, I forgot about this. So yeah, I thought I might have one of these. So yeah, it's Class 60070. It's obviously still in the three-tone grey sectorisation from British Rail. So we'll talk a little bit about the sort of paint scheme in a minute. So yeah, well let's start. This actual locomotive is in storage, and it has been since mid-2000s, I think. Don't know to be precise, maybe 2005. And it is to this day still in this livery and with many parts taken off it. Whether it will ever see the rails again is anyone's guess. Okay, so Loadhaul started in 1994, taking on some of the work from British Rail. So they had 33 of these, quite a few 37s and quite a lot of 56s as well. Majority then got painted into the Loadhaul colours, as we know, the orange and black, very distinctive livery. But some of these were less fortunate. So there was only 3 that carried this particular livery. There was only 3 Class 60s that actually carried this actual livery. So it's quite strange for Hornby to model it. I'm sure there's quite a few modelers out there that couldn't wait to get their hands on this sort of model. I think it looks great. But yeah, the main reason they couldn't fully repaint it, probably because this particular locomotive was built in 1992, maybe 93, it would have still had the paintwork warranty. So this particular model or locomotive would have been maybe 2-3 years old, so you wouldn't want to put a full new paint job on it. A little bit more Class 60s. They were quite short-lived within British Rail. They were sort of designed as a heavy haul locomotive, top speed of 60 mile an hour. They had quite a lot of brake horsepower. Can't remember the bloody figure off the top of my head though. They had a 8-cylinder Merlitys engine, to be very reliable and economical and very powerful. So these sort of short-lived. They were sort of taken over by Loadhaul, Mainline, Transrail, and eventually EWS. Obviously you can still see some in service today, not many. Some have been resurrected from the scrapyard. Of course DB Schenker, Colas, and I think even GBRF have now got some. So it's lovely to see these beasts resurrected from the graveyard. Okay, so enough of this bloody box, let's have a look at the model. Okay, so pull this out of the way. So general packaging is the later Hornby packaging. I've got a couple of Class 60s, both in EWS. I've never had another livery. So yeah, it's in this lovely two-tone grey, three-tone, two-tone grey, excuse me. And it's had this sort of half-hearted Loadhaul sort of stickers applied. Okay, so being the later release, modified, it's the lights are different. They've done quite a few variation with the lights on these to try and improve them. So now the lighting board is hardwired into the PCB for a harness. This is DC fitted, my 60014 Alexander Fleming with the same sort of livery with the half EWS over the old sectorization logo. Has got the TTS sound. I would have bought that chip today, but it's currently sold out, so I'm waiting for one to come back into stock, and then I'll soon be chucking that into this particular logo. Okay, so usual stuff for the Class 60. If you know the model, and I'm sure everyone has got one of these, they are absolutely fantastic. Probably Hornby's flagship model, alongside it, as you can see in the background, the Class 50. They're both two models that they do seem to make very well. I'm not saying I've never owned a Class 60 that doesn't have its issues, especially with the earlier ones. They had the light and board issues, which seem to have been rectified. Okay, so a little thing that I probably would have done with this model if I was releasing it myself, was probably would have weathered it and maybe tied it out a bit. This would probably how it looked when it came out of the Loadhaul workshop after it just had its stickers applied. Probably had a fresh wash and then pushed outside. This is literally how it probably would have looked. Pristine is the word I'm looking for. I would have probably weathered it and tired it slightly. So yeah, usual stuff with the model, opening doors, nighttime and daytime light settings. It's currently on nighttime, so the position of the lights are the other way around with the little rectangle and the circle. I put it on nighttime because I normally sort of run the trains in the evening. Not that it really matters, because at the moment we've got the light on in the room for the purpose of the video. Okay, so again, it's 60070. This logo is currently not in service, in storage. Where it is now in its current state, the last picture I saw of it wasn't too pretty. You know, very, very tired looking and stripped out. Okay, so the name of this particular model, locomotive, is John Loundon McAdam. Who that is, I don't know. Some nice bloke, maybe. I don't know. I haven't really looked. It probably says it on the back of the box. Should we have a look? I'll just grab a box. Hang on. So, feel free to pause. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to point it at the locomotive, and I'm now going to just have a look myself. So the locomotive was built in 1991, so yeah, it would have been 3 years old, and named in 1991, the same month it was delivered, along with 60050 and 60064 and 60070. John Loundon McAdam was one of only 3 locomotives to carry the Loadhaul branding over the existing rail freight triple grey livery, rather than the more familiar black and yellow ends. 60070 was put into storage on August the 31st, 2004, and is currently stored at DB Schenken's Toten site. Oh, well, there you are then. There's your answer. So 2004, this locomotive came out of service. For a British rail locomotive, it only done 13 years service, which is still quite a long time. Now, if you sort of talk about maybe buses a bit more, and I know buses general life is about 15 years, depends on the company, but majority of the time it's 15 years. So yeah, this has done a fair while. Some others have done longer. Okay, so yeah, I would have probably weathered the model. Another thing I noticed, which I was a little bit sort of hummed and hard about, was the colour of the exhaust. On my 60014 Alexander Fleming, this is like a browny rusty colour, which is probably how the majority of them went. But we'll just imagine this one's just been refurbished and brought back out of the workshop. Okay, so I'm not going to run it around too much. I'll just run it backwards and forwards, show you the lights. Basically what we want to do is have a look at this model and the livery. You know, people maybe want to just make on that decision whether it actually looks quite smart. So I have got some wagons for it, but like I say, I'm not going to be running them today because the layout isn't really set up. I've literally just got home from buying it, so I just thought I'd do the video straight away and get on with it. Okay, so at the front, this is general stuff really, we don't need to go over it too much. General fantastic detail around the windows, the horns. A famous thing on a Class 60, they always fall off, they get lost, and you can't buy bloody new ones. My burgundy and or maroon and yellow 60026 is missing one, and it is really frustrating, but you just can't do nothing about it. Sprung buffers of course, and the coupling is within this snow plough, or whatever you want to call it, debris mover at the bottom. You can take that off, pop the coupling out and take the plough off, and yeah, so it's lovely hand around the middle. Again, be very careful of it, they tend to break as well. These are just sort of areas to look at. Another thing, I never tend to open the doors, I just don't touch them. They look nice enough as it is, but they do open, and I'm not going to prove it. I just don't like to touch them because in the past I've either scratched the door opening it, or it's popped in and it won't close. So I'd rather just leave it alone, just letting people know that they do open and close, which people know anyway. Okay, so we're just going to move it along a bit. Lovely slow speed. Okay, so you probably noticed as it went past, you can see some sort of machinery in there, maybe traction motors, engine, gearbox, that's in there, and you can see some daylight through there, which is quite nice. So we'll go down to the other grille, some nice detail down the side, can't see through that one, and then we're at the back. Okay, so we'll stop it there. So you've got lovely cab detail, you can just about see it, all them gauges and dials and controls. Okay, again lovely detail throughout the model, nicely printed nameplate. Moving along to the Loadhaul part, and also very nice as well. Okay, so got some nice underframe detail, compressors maybe on the batteries and the fuel tanks. Lovely detail. And obviously this end, sorry, just excuse my hand, we've got the red lights, we've got the white lights, and you've got the horns this end with this sort of plastic bit, or the step on top, whatever that is, deflector maybe. But yeah, so that's all really for this model. We don't need to see the running of it. We know what a 60 is capable of. We know this is Hornby's flagship model, and there we have it. So I think that'll do for today. I'm pleased to have it. I'll probably be running it in later, half an hour each way at a sort of medium reasonable speed, and see how she goes. So thank you for the time for watching this video. I hope it's helpful and maybe decide whether you'd like to get one. I probably would, because a lot of places are showing low stock on them, so maybe they're going to be quite popular. You know, usually Class 60s they sell quite quick. They're very desirable. So yeah, anyway, thank you for taking the time to watch it. I hope it's helpful to you. Any comments or questions, please put below. If you've got one yourself, you know, just drop a comment and let us know what you think. But I'll be uploading a video in the next few days of it with some wagons, maybe some fuel tankers or something. We'll sort something out. Anyway, thanks ever so much, and good night.